There's this incredible silent battle happening all around us, in our rivers, our lakes, pretty much everywhere. And it's not what you think. It's not animals fighting animals. It's plants versus pollution. We're going to dive into how nature itself might just have the answer to cleaning up our own mess.
So here's the big question we're digging into today, and it's a wild one. Could a common weed, the kind of plant you see in ditches all the time, actually clean up our most toxic water? Is it possible that this ordinary plant is some kind of environmental superhero in disguise?
Okay, but before we get to our green heroes, we really have to wrap our heads around the villain of this story. And it's a big one, the heavy metal problem.
Think about it. When factories make all the stuff we use, the leftover water, the wastewater, can be just loaded with heavy metals like iron, copper, and zinc. And you can't even see them, but they are seriously dangerous. We're talking links to things like cancer and heart disease, even in tiny, tiny amounts.
So, what's the usual fix for this? Well, the old school methods are pretty intense. They involve a lot of chemicals or super high pressure filters, and not only is that stuff expensive, but it creates this nasty toxic sludge. So you clean the water, but now you have this toxic gunk you have to deal with. It's kind of like sweeping dirt under the rug, right? That's why scientists have been desperately looking for a better, greener alternative.
And what if that better way wasn't some new, high-tech invention, but something that's been around forever? What if it was just plants? That's the whole idea here, using plants to clean our water.
Now, there's a fancy scientific name for this, phytoremediation. But really, it's just an elegant way of saying we use green plants to suck pollutants out of the environment. I mean, think about it. It's basically a solar-powered, super cheap, totally eco-friendly water filter. Pretty cool, right?
So how does this even work? Well, there are these special plants called hyperaccumulators, and they're basically nature's sponges. They just drink up the contaminated water through their roots, pull all those nasty heavy metals up through their stems, and then just store them in their leaves. They are literally pulling the pollution right out of the water and locking it away.
Okay, so not every plant can do this. The big question is, which ones are the best for the job? Well, the scientists behind this study decided to find out. They basically set up a botanical showdown between two top contenders.
All right, let's meet our fighters. In this corner, we've got the water hyacinth, famous for growing super fast. And in the other corner, we have Typha latifolia. You probably know it as the common cattail. That tall plant you see everywhere in marshes. Both are good, but the question is, who's the real champ?
Let's think of them like this. The cattail is the tough, steady workhorse. It's durable, it can hang in there for the long haul, even in nasty water. The water hyacinth? That's the specialist, the sprinter. Its whole deal is speed. It grows like crazy, so the theory is it could suck up pollutants much, much faster.
All right, with our two green contenders ready to go, the scientists set up the ultimate test to see who would crack under pressure. And the setup was pretty simple, really. They took both plants, put them in tubs filled with actual industrial wastewater. This stuff came from a cable factory at different levels of concentration. Then they just watched and measured who cleaned it better over 16 days. The clock was ticking.
So what happened? After 16 days stewing in that toxic soup, who came out on top? Well, this is where we really see the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner.
Let's look at the cattail first. Wow, the results were seriously impressive. You can see this clear, steady improvement. The longer it sat in that polluted water, the better it got at cleaning it, right up to the very end of the test. It was just a machine.
Now, let's flip over to the water hyacinth. It started off like a rocket. I mean, it was doing a fantastic job for the first 12 days, but then it hit a wall. Its performance just flattened out. Turns out, the high levels of toxins started to break the plant down. It just wasn't tough enough for the long haul. So the cattail wasn't just tough, it was an absolute powerhouse. Get this, it removed almost 96% of the color from the dirtiest water sample. I mean, think about that. It made the water look almost completely clean.
And it wasn't just about looks. For the invisible stuff, the dangerous stuff, it pulled out over 92% of the iron. That is a huge win against a major heavy metal pollutant.
Now hold on, this doesn't mean the water hyacinth was a complete bust, not at all. The study showed it had a secret weapon. It turned out to be an amazing zinc remover, actually beating the cattail in that one specific category. It took out almost 86% of the zinc.
So when you look at the final report card,
The winner is pretty clear. The cattail is our MVP, our all-around champion. It crushed it on getting rid of the cloudiness, the color, the iron, and the copper. The water hyacinth gets a solid silver medal, but with a special gold star for its zinc cleaning skills. So, what's the takeaway? If you've got a complex mess of pollutants, you want the all-rounder. You want the cattail.
Okay, so a plant won a science fair-style competition. What's the big deal? What does this actually mean for the future of cleaning our water? Let's zoom out a bit.
I mean, the main takeaway here is huge. We have this super common plant, the cattail, that can clean up seriously dangerous industrial waste. And it does it for cheap, it's good for the environment, and it doesn't create more toxic sludge. This is the definition of green technology. It's exactly what we've been looking for.
And that leaves us with one last really cool thought. What if, instead of building these huge, expensive concrete water treatment plants, the future of cleaning up our messes just looks like a wetland? Could a field of cattails be the wastewater treatment plant of tomorrow? You know, based on this research, the answer is looking like a big, hopeful yes.